going to be some Designer English 101. That's my name. And first of all, we all use this stuff, and we need to know what it's called the right way. It's Adobe Creative Suite. Even though we all say it wrong. So when you're talking about programs you use, please never say Adobe, because it's Adobe, guys. And that word on the bottom, it's not suit, even though you feel like it's suit because this is a suit that men wear. It's suite. And this, those of you who are lucky enough to use this new OS 10, is pronounced Yosemite. How many of us are print designers? Okay. How do we pronounce this?
CMYK.
That's right. And how do we pronounce this? Cyan. It's not cyan, it's not anything. Well, you really won't need to use like English-speaking printers, but still good to know that it's cyan. When you get an email and it says, I need this artwork by COB, what does it mean? It means like today, by the end of the working day, by close of business. And when alternatively your client will say, I need this ASAP. And if you're talking to him on the phone, you can't say, I'll do this ASAP. You can't, because you can also do it as down. These three letters are French, and but in English you say etc., even though in French you say etc. So I like cakes, cookies, muffins, etc. This one I didn't know until recently. I got this in my email where it was a page count, and on the cover it said image TBD. And I thought, well, what does that mean? Image to be decided. Send me that URL, will you? It's not URL, it's URL. Really, if you run into these letters, you need to pronounce the whole letters. You can't say, I need the PSD. You need to say, I need all of the PSDs. And this you can't really say yips. You have to say EPS. Okay, let's look at some symbols and stuff. This thing, we can call it dot, we can call it point, we can call it full stop, we can call it period. Which one do we use?
Dot.
We use all of them. And in this case, we use, in the case where we're talking about websites and emails, we use www.google.com or email@gmail.com. We use period if we're Americans. I want that effort ready today, period. And they actually use the word in the end to underline the fact that it's today. And if we're British, we'll say full stop. I want that advert ready today, full stop. And point we use when there's numbers or decimals, so version 2.0 or 10.5%. These things in the end are called semicolon or semicolon. If you're British, you'll put the hyphen in the middle. If not, if you're American and you like making things simple, you won't. You'll just spell it without a hyphen. And this thing is called a colon or a colon. Ellipsis, the three dots. Even though this word exists in our language and we say apostrophe, it's apostrophe.
Apostrophe.
But then if you're French, it's l'apostrophe. Okay, this one has always been mispronounced by like everyone I know. It's a sheet of paper. It's not shit. If your design is shit, your client will say, this design is shit. An easy way to remember how to say sheet the right way is the word we all know, she, and just add the T in the end. It's sheet. It's not shit. This one has always been tricky. So if you're British, or if your client is British, he'll say, all right, mate, fancy some 5 o'clock tea. Can you fit that in your schedule? And if your client is American, he'll say, do you want to schedule a meeting tomorrow? So if they're American, they'll say schedule. If they're British, they'll say it poshly, they'll say schedule. Us designers use only one word here. If you're unlucky,
No, we can use all.
yeah. If you're unlucky, you'll use the first two. So, the first ones are guys in suits that charge a lot of money and they take you to court. They go to court with you. They're called lawyers because they study law. These second guys are guys that lie all the time, tell lies. They're liars. And the stuff we use in Photoshop is our layers. Okay, serif fonts are fonts that have little thingies on them, and a sans serif font is a font that doesn't have little thingies on it. This thing is called a hyphen. Oh, a longer thing like that is called a dash, which I didn't put here. Sorry. This underscore thing that looks like a dash, but it's on the baseline, is called an underscore. So for instance, my underscore name at gmail.com. At. The most important thing about this thing is that it's not a sabachka. It's not a funny A, it's not a sabachka, it's not a kotik, it's at. So if you're saying my email is Irina.Naливайко at gmail.com, you can't say anything else. If you're dealing with text, you'll use these things a lot, and they're called parentheses. Skobki. You can call them brackets if they are rectangular, but the round ones are parentheses. The brackets are the other ones. And if it's just one you're using, it's a parenthesis. You'll probably never use just one parenthesis, but it's funny because there are a lot of words that are like that. For example, there's one thesis, but there's two theses. There's one crisis, but two crises. Analysis, analyses. Oasis, oases. Ellipsis, a word we looked at earlier, and ellipses. Kerning is the thing we do to letters to make text readable, and bad kerning turns final exam into anal exam. What can I say? Okay, some more French stuff. When you're dealing with typeface names, you can call them, you can try to adjust your pronunciation to the original name. You can Americanize them or make them sound English, but really it's Dido. It's Garamo. It's Neue Helvetica. It's Cochin. It's Pino. This guy's American, and it's Heffler. This guy's British, and it's Caslon. Okay, let's get to the most important fun stuff, dealing with clients. When your client says, this color works for me, what does it mean?
It's okay, no?
Yeah, it's okay. It doesn't mean этот цвет работает для меня. What does this mean? Yeah, it means it's fine. This color is okay. It means like he really doesn't care. You could do anything you want. And if he's American, he'll say the same thing, but he'd say, I could care less. So British people say, I couldn't care less, and American people say, I could care less. I actually got this from my boss once, and I took some time to figure it out. I wouldn't be unhappy with this font. It's a double thing, and it basically means that's fine. It's an extremely posh way of saying it's okay. Let's go with this version. Let's use this version. Not so keen on this. This doesn't quite work for the client. Let's try something else. I don't get it. Я не понял. Let's give it a go. Let's try this. Let's give it a shot. Same thing. Okay, I get the picture.
I give it a shot, okay.
Let's give it a shot. Давай, типа, попробуем. I get the picture. It doesn't mean я получил картинку. It means I get the idea. Someone doesn't get the idea, you're missing the point. It doesn't mean like that ты пропустил точку. It means you're missing the message, you don't understand. Are we on the same page? Is like when your client sits down with you and says, do you share my values? Do you think the same way that I do? Are we going in the same direction together? So baseball terms. These baseball things are American, and British people always make fun of Americans, and British people don't use this stuff. I'll call you so that we can touch base. Touch base is like the very first contact that someone makes with you when they call you and you say hi and talk about what you're going to work on. Set the ball rolling, get the ball rolling, start the ball rolling. It means let's start, let's go, let's do this. Okay, let's talk about some color words now. Fuchsia. Those of you who are web designers, don't forget the word. It's FD3F92. Sapphire blue, navy blue, turquoise, violet, mauve, azure, beige. Indigo. Ish is a thingy that Americans and British people and English-speaking people use all the time. A pinkish color, a bluish color, a reddish color, a yellowish color, or even if you have a meeting, they say, let's meet 1-ish, or 2-ish, or 3-ish, or 6:30-ish. How do we pronounce this word?
Hugh.
Good. It's the exact same word as the name Hugh. Laurie Hugh Jackman. Okay, that's it. So if you want to improve your English, you should listen to more podcasts, watch tutorials and stuff, and movies, or call me. By the way, I'm looking for a job.
Thank you.